right, welcome back. It's No Apologies on Beck, and
Thank you for that.
she made me do it.
I did. It was my fault.
Not the topic. Don't Senator,
not the topic.
Senator
no.
Dever, don't get mad at her. But the rant. All right.
The rant. Okay.
So next segment is tied in. I'm following up with this. We're going to go to our guest after this segment, so you will want to stick around. But in this segment, I wanted to talk a little bit more about spending, because we know that we're off the charts for state spending, but we are, by all accounts, off the charts for federal spending. And it doesn't matter if you go back to George W., Obama, Trump, Biden. Way too much spending, okay? Now, what I pulled up is something that I thought was very instructive. There is an organization called the American Conservative Union Foundation. What they do is they rank legislators. They do it for states. They do it for U.S. congressional delegations. And, you know, there's no ranking system that's perfect, but you get a really solid idea. And you can research in this site. You can compare legislators by state, federal government, doesn't matter. It is such a good site.
They also allow you to kind of fiddle around with specific votes and all sorts of, it's very
various
interactive.
Topics, and for tonight, I honed in on a category of topic, which was budget and spending. But pull up our the first website pick here, and this is the American Conservative Union Foundation. Evaluate lawmakers and legislatures by the issue, and again, it's for states, it's for U.S. It's wonderful. You guys, if you're watching this show, you probably have some level of interest in politics. You probably have some inkling that accountability by elected officials may be important. So with that, I pulled up our senators and I pulled up other senators, and I wanted to have a discussion. Now, I always believe, as I say, that the truth is the truth and we should never be afraid of it. Okay? So we can disagree with ACU, but we cannot disagree that the ACU ratings are what they are. Now, pull up our first senator, the senior senator from North Dakota, Senator John Hoeven. I want you to take a look, folks. We're going to go through a lot of these. If you look in the red numbers, 78 is the rating he got. Basically, you can call it a percentage, 78% for the 2020 year. A lifetime rating of 69.9. That doesn't sound too bad. Now, if we go, I pulled up the category of taxing and spending. He has a 25% rating for 2020 and a 42.9% rating for lifetime. So I think that that's a little bit lacking. Now, we don't know what these numbers mean unless we put them in context with other legislators. So we have Senator Kevin Cramer. We have a 78, which is tied for the 2020 with Senator Hoeven, and a slightly higher lifetime rating of 72.79. The category rating of spending and taxing is 25%, identical to Senator Hoeven's, and as is his lifetime at 42 plus. Okay? Now, what do we compare it to? Well, I compare it to a lot of things because I don't know. Does this mean these guys are not good on spending? It seems like it. Let's compare to, Lori, would you say Mitt Romney is known as a tight fiscal conservative?
Not necessarily.
I would say he's not.
No.
So, okay, fine. Nothing wrong with that. But let's do a comparison. So we've got Mitt Romney in my next little pick here. And we find that Mitt is at 25% for spending and taxing and 52% for lifetime. 52. So he's higher lifetime rating than Senators Hoeven and Cramer. Now, I'm going to go into that a little bit more in just a second here. Senator Heitkamp, pull up the next graphic. Now, she's at 0 and 0. Again, now, because it's the American Conservative Union, they believe in very limited spending. This is not whether a senator is good or bad. This is whether a senator is good if you believe that spending is bad, okay? So she rates 0. Okay, fair enough. So we see that, that there is comparability. But now let's compare to Senator Ted Cruz, someone who is also a Republican, but known to be more of a fiscal conservative. Instead of the 25 of our North Dakota senators for a 2020 rating, he has 75 and an 85% instead of 42% of the North Dakota senators. How about another one? How about liberty-loving Rand Paul? He is at 100% for taxing and spending issues in 2020, 99 effectively % for lifetime rating. And last but not least, out of the freedom fighters, we have Mike Lee. I love Mike Lee. You guys saw a great interview we had with him some weeks back. He is at 100% and also 99% on taxing and spending. Now, how about we compare to some Democrats that tend to lean a little bit more fiscally conservative? Senator Joe Manchin.
Good choice.
Senator Joe Manchin. 2020, 25% rating, the same as Senator Kramer, same as Senator Hoeven, a lifetime rating of about 15%. And finally, Senator Kyrsten Sinema, who is also at 25%. So we have the more fiscally, we'll call them blue dog Democrats, have the same 2020 rating as our guys. Lifetime rating, definitely lower. Both 2020 and lifetime ratings so far low for the North Dakotans than they are for who we identify as standing out in the fight for freedom, in the fight for limited spending and limiting the risk to future generations. Now, I will give you this. When we look at Mitt Romney, why would he be better than our two guys?
Right.
Well, the reason is because our two guys are going to vote for spending, have voted for spending that Donald Trump wanted. Here's the thing. You have to have your principles that you stick to through thick and thin. If you only vote according to principles when it's convenient, they are no longer principles. They are a loose, ramshackle guideline, and that's not good enough. So we've got Mitt Romney. He's happy to vote against Trump, so he's higher than our guys. But that still stands as an indictment, I believe, that our guys seem to be very happy to spend in general, and especially when one of our own, if you want to call it, a Republican, is in the White House. And the same goes for Senator Heitkamp. Obviously, she's going to be voting against anything that Donald Trump has, so that maybe gives a little bit of an artifact that lowers her vote. Now, I do want to go to a couple of things, just so that you know. I do encourage you to check out the American Conservative Union Foundation. Here's an example. I've got 4 examples. In 2019, we have H.R. 2157. They go into what the bill is about. Here it says hiking wasteful spending under the guise.
3877 first. The authorizing a fiscally irresponsible.
Yes, thank you.
That's first.
Thank you. So this is authorizing a fiscally irresponsible budget. We know that both of our senators voted against it, yet it was split, yes and no. So it was really a delineating bill that separated out the fiscally conservative Republicans from the moderate Republicans, and unfortunately our guys were not in there. Then you go to 2157, hiking wasteful spending under the guise of emergency disaster relief. Now here, everyone, all the Democrats and most of the Republicans voted in favor. And here again, you have an impetus, a pressure to vote for it for fear of not being re-elected, because the way it's positioned is that everybody wants this, and you have to, in this case, abandon your principle. And sadly, both of our North Dakota guys did. Third up is H.R. 6201. Imposing costly new mandates on businesses battling COVID-19. This is where they said, hey, every business you have to give paid time off for every dang time that someone's positive, that you send someone home for isolation, yada, yada, yada. Both our guys voted no. And last one, H.R. 133, also in 2020, advancing cronyism and out-of-control spending through a $2.3 trillion spending package. And once again, I will say, our guys were amongst the majority of Republicans and the entirety of Democrats that voted in favor of it. So am I picking them out and saying they did something particularly bad? I am not. They stood with the majority of Republicans and the entirety of Democrats. However, there were 6 Republicans who stood by their principles. So it's not that you did horrible, it's that you didn't do good enough. And the North Dakota voters deserve better.